day, and you're ready to get into a nice workout. So just going to start off with our massage ball. So if you don't have one, just use a tennis ball. They work quite well. We're going to get into the feet, iron those out, open them up. So we're going to dig into those nice tight spots in the bottom of the feet, get them healthy, keep them moving. I'm still a bit sore from my sprints on the weekend. Did some on Sunday. Nice long slow jogs, so working through those, ironing them out, getting a good amount of pressure in there. Tennis ball's not as aggressive as a ball like this, but they still work quite well. So you want to get to know your own feet, get to know all the muscles in the feet, plantar fascia. Then we're going to get into the tibialis anterior, release that, find any tight spots in there, get some pinning going on so you compress the area, point, flex, iron it out, open it up, and we're going to go into calves here, gastrocnemius. I want to get into these lateral fibers, get down into the soleus, and come through here. So these are really important to look after. And get better at releasing if you plan on walking around and using your feet for the rest of your life. It's a good investment of your time to look after the lower limbs, keep your suspension system healthy. So here, just tracing that edge, point and flex. And we're going into the calves through there, lateral edge, soleus. Nice, getting that medial line there, iron them out. If you want more pressure, you can place that foot on top and get into the hamstrings. These are actually a bit better if you're not flexible enough to get into a good position. You can sit up on a chair and get into there, and that works quite well. So just want to find a nice good spot there, iron it out, release it. Oh, good stuff, John. So from here, find those tight spots, iron them out. The chair's also quite beneficial. I'll just give you a quick demo because you can do the active release where you'll curl the leg. So say if I've got that there and get it, and then I can work that dynamic. Just make sure your chair's not too soft so you can get a decent amount of pressure. That works quite well to get in the hamstrings because the roller doesn't quite get in deep enough when you're using that on those. So we'll get into the glutes. Find a good spot there. Morning. There's Fiona. Iron those out. So we've got some explosive lunges today for the sprint drills. So we're going to need the glutes to fire up nicely. And depending on how they felt from yesterday, if I did the stiff-legged deadlifts, I didn't really get too much going on through there. Then going into the lower back, iron that out. So maybe that was a little bit fatigued from doing the core yesterday, or doing the deadlifts as well, especially if you did some loaded ones. If you've got some weights at home. Big breath in, breathe out, sink into it. So if you're joining me for the first time, we start off with the massage ball. Go for the first 5 minutes, we'll go a little bit over today. Get a good spot there, use the breath. First 15 minutes of the session, just going through mobility, so massage ball, foam roller, and a mobility routine. Your traps are a little bit sore, got a little bit of tension in there from those overhead presses did yesterday. Handstands, pike presses, iron those out, get that dynamic action going. Nice. get into the suboccipitals up the top, which is quite nice there. So just getting in under here on each side. Remember, you're not going straight onto the bone, you're just going into the soft tissue. Don't want to bruise yourself. Just want to get in there, iron it out. So yeah, if you've got more time, get into some longer versions of that. So even starting them before the live session, or just pause it and keep getting into it. Then we go into the roller. So just going to go through that adductor, get that nice line there, open those out. Then we're going to hit that 45-degree angle, roll that out, and then come up and down. Good stuff, guys. Find where you're tight. If you get a good spot, you can pin it, do that nice active release. That lateral line. Just lift it over. So from that lateral line, you can come around into that lateral hamstring. The ball's a bit more effective, but this roll is pretty good. It's pretty heavy duty. But if you're using a softer one, you might find you don't get a lot from going into the hamstrings. That out there, that's nice. And we'll get into the other thigh. So it's just getting a nice flow routine where you wrap right around that thigh, iron it out, warm it up, prep it for the session, get right into the groin, breathe into it, relax. If you do want to get a good side split, then if you can warm them up well, prep them every day, get in touch with them, strengthen them, quite hard once a week. We do that on a Friday where we do the deeper, heavier strengthening for the adductors. You just want to nurture them, make them healthier, work with them. If you don't have a roller at home, a bottle works quite well. You might need to wrap a towel around it at the beginning. And depending on the surface you're on, it might slide around a little bit, but you just got to make do with what you've got. Fortunately, all the home delivery services are still pumping along for most of us, so you should be able to get it online. Just sterilize it first. So going into the glutes, this is not as effective as the ball. I prefer the ball to get in there, but this is still quite nice. You just get a nice roll through there, flush it out. See how your glutes are going today. Getting into the lower back, running that out, finding where you're tight. I'll bring the screen a bit closer. Can't see who's commenting. Oh, not that close. Good morning. That's better. Hey Annie, how are you? Matt? So we'll get into the thoracic. So go from the lower back. You can do the lower back each side, it's quite nice there. Find where you're tight there, breathe into it. If your lower back is an issue, you always want to work on that hip mobility, spinal stability, that hip back disassociation. Found that's most effective over the years for people to manage it. And depending on the severity, you just have to work with what you've got, strengthen the body so that way you can stabilize the spine effectively, and then if you mobilize the hips, you can get the load into the bigger joints, into the hips, and that way it keeps it out of the spine. And then if you're just looking at general tension from sitting down, working on the computer, just getting a stand-up setup going. I just stack boxes up here in the gym, or you can put a chair on the table at home. Works well as a makeshift stand-up desk. And just moving around through the day. If you've got this kind of setup with the towel on the door, or if you've got rings at home, but just tractioning out through the day, really important. So getting this this last one before we get into the mobility routine. Just breathing in to that lat, opening it up. Hope your lats are opening up so you get better handstand lines. These are really good to work on each day. And then that lat mobility so you can take the brakes off so you can get your arms over your head better. You can brachiate, reach up. That's all the hanging works so well. That's why it's so important to have some type of hanging apparatus to train on, whether you've got rings or you've got the door and the tower set up. Just can't see the clock. There it is. So let's get into our nice squat stretch. Get into that. And I got this out today just to go through a quick routine on the wrists with it when we get up to that, just so you've got some background on it. It's basically you make it quite tight, wrap it around, and then release that tension, and it flushes the area out. Works really well on the ankles. So if you're in this position here and your ankles just don't have that range, your knees as well, works really well for that, for elbows and for wrists. Come down to the butterfly. Open that up. So it's pretty simple. So if I'm doing it, you just hold it with a thumb and then wrap it around. You can get them online. The other thing you can use is you can just cut a bicycle tire lengthways and just do it with that. Works pretty well. If you've got one that's got some holes in it and don't have another use for it. But yeah, if you just type in voodoo flossing online, there's heaps of videos on it, stuff like that. Great for forearm tendonitis, sore wrists, especially when you start your journey on body weight conditioning, even if you're not doing handstands, but just putting more load into your wrists. So you're just working that side split. Remember to work with the body on a day. Some days it feels good, other days it's a bit tight. So you don't want to rush the process, use the breath, listen to it, just make it a daily habit to check in and just use it throughout the day as well. So here, just getting some active control there. Work on those, feel those quads turn on. Get those. Nice. We'll go into our pike. So working on those, hit those different lines through the hamstring. Remember, it's a daily process to improve. It's not something that will just happen straight away. You've got to work for it. So coming down into that pike. Remember, if you are really tight in the hamstring, work on just hinging in the hip first before you overdo the spinal flexion component. Because if you've got good hip mobility, then it becomes more spinal traction in the pike. Through some active drills there. Checking in with those, I'm feeling good today. Got my electrolyte levels up, it's feeling much better. That's nice. Okay, let's have a look at these. So, if you know the routine you want to keep going, that's cool. Otherwise, I'll just do a quick wrap, just so you get a concept of this. When you do it more, you can wrap it tighter. You don't want to overdo it at the beginning, so just tuck that, get rid of the excess. And then I just do my wrist moves with that on. So this is really good for flushing it out. If you do have a sore wrist, it'll feel quite good doing it. You can do these ones. Remember on these, just keep the elbows soft. If you're starting out, then you can straighten them out to make it a bit heavier. Don't rush it. You want the wrist to feel good. Work on improving their health so you can do it with the mobility stuff like that. And if I was doing both sides, usually I go through the full routine with it on one, or if you had two of these, it's cool, and then do the other one. So if you got two, you just go through it once. But that way it's also good to do it with it on and then with it off, so you can feel the difference in the same movements. They are a really good tool. worthwhile having for such a, just a cheap piece of equipment. Can do so much. I had so many clients where they've just had knee pain or elbow pain, they couldn't train, and then they just did a quick routine with this, flushed it out, and then that little bit of inflammation got flushed out and they were able to move pain-free, or they had quite reduced pain so they could enjoy their session a lot more. Obviously it's important to not force your body through any pain, because then it just inflames more. But if you've got little tools like this that can help you recover faster, help your injuries get stronger from more consistent training, and that's a good thing. So let's get into spinal modes. So we're going to do a nice exhalation, inhalation. That one going, and we'll just do some hip moves. Adductor, hip flexor, abductor. Just rolling from side to side, traction that hip out. Feels good there. And the other side, use the breath, big breath in, breathing out. So, traction that hip, open it up. So hopefully you're all getting on board with a nice lifestyle as well with this, getting good sleep, getting good food, having good home cooked meals, getting 2 good meals a day, sitting down, relaxing, enjoying every mouthful, and just nurturing your body through this time so we can come back stronger, healthier, happier, create a better world, better way of doing things. Coming to the other side, big breath in, exhale, drive the hips forward, traction it out, find where you're tight. Keep those hamstrings, finish that off. And we'll get into our usual warm-up and we'll start the timer. So just find where you're tight there. If you're up here, that's cool. If you need to soften the knees, that's cool. Just work with your body. Alright, let's get this timer cranking. Stretch it out a little bit, and we'll hit it on this. 27. And 32. Nice. Get the shoulders, circle them. If you've got a band set up, even better. Otherwise, just getting through here, opening up, turning on all those little muscles in the shoulder, out to the side, coming right down. Go forward. So one way all the way up, circle the other way, coming down. Nice. Work that right up, right at 45. Nice. Get some internal, external rotation. Externally rotate, thumbs go back. Thumbs go back there, to internally rotate. Try and feel that, warm it up, prep it. Feel those arms. And we go into our dislocate. Let's grab this, so anything, use your shirt, use a towel. Just going through, trying to get a nice smooth movement there, shrugging right up, shrugging right forward. If you feel a bit tight, just go a bit wider, don't force it. Never want these to click and pop and abuse the shoulders. You want to try and make sure you feel good, feel that nice smooth range. Work with the body, with what you've got on the day. Go and do it better than other days. Let's go face down. Get this away. So face down, arch, dislocate. That. The tough one here is that underhand grip. Lift up there. And back. Just do a couple of these before we get into the glute activators. Try and stay in that hollow body. And we're going to do some hip drives. Do a couple of double leg ones, single leg. Feel that glute turn on, ready for the explosive sprint drill today. Fire that up, come up. Get some toe taps each leg. A couple of those. Reaching out, hit those 45-degree angles. And try to feel the glutes turning on. Hips nice and stable. Take your time if you need to. And we've got the deep squat down. Coming up, try and squeeze those glutes at the top. And speed it up if you like, or just stay nice and slow, but try and get a good squeeze on them. Take a breather for a sec. We'll get into our dead hangs. These out of the way. So you want to stay hydrated, make sure you get your electrolytes. So I have around 2 tablespoons of Celtic sea salt per day, which seems like a lot, but you've got to put it back in, especially if you're doing low carb nutrition. So you've got that nice deep dead hang, because if you've got elevated carbohydrate levels, elevated insulin, you retain salt, and that's what, and when you switch to low carb, you excrete it, and you're not retaining it with the insulin, so you need to increase your intake. And ideally it would come from natural streams, from to the plank to pike, come from having the blood of the animal. It's full of minerals, and then just animal foods and food in general, vegetables, everything would have more minerals because the soil would be more rich because of the natural root systems and the healthy soils. But because a lot of people are eating from tilled soils that are depleted of nutrition and depleted of minerals, and they're not eating animals that are grazing on perennial grasses that have nice deep roots. Let's get that side to side split action going. Left side first, right side. So if you know what you're doing, you're already into it. Just hit a couple on this side. Out. Let's go to the other side, right down nice and deep. Use the breath. Up and down. Some of those. Just work with the body on the day. Just listen to how it's feeling. Just wanted to get stronger, healthier. Get into those hang shrugs and traction out. So you want to make sure you've got a nice anchor with your tea towels set up well. Get some shrugs. Sink right through, elevate the scaps and depress them. I was looking at some research last night, which is really cool, just with, the whole low carb thing, it just works so well for reducing body fat and improving body composition. But something that I thought was really fascinating, especially because sleep is just so important, is central adiposity and the correlation between that. Oops, we had the hand ones. Hands to feet on the second one. Is people have got visceral fat around here that correlates with tongue fat, which restricts the airways and doesn't let you breathe as well, which disrupts sleep. So people that carry any body fat here, it's so important to lose it, not just for the health of your organs, the health of your body, from just that isolated area, but just to get rid of that excess fat that's around the tongue that restricts the airway. when you lose the fat around your organs, you lose it within your tongue. And then the tongue's smaller so you can breathe easier. Those that have excess visceral fat have bigger tongues from the fat inside the tongue. And then that restricts the airway, doesn't let them breathe properly through the night, and they get sleep apnea. Really fascinating stuff. But just another reason to get rid of that visceral fat. And then on top of that, usually if someone's got visceral fat, they also have insulin resistance. And with the coronavirus, it uses the ACE2 receptor to get to you. And those that have insulin resistance, diabetes, or ACE2 receptors, it increases them. Hence why the majority of the people that are being affected by the coronavirus are pre-diabetic, diabetic, insulin resistant. That's why it's so important to get onto low-carb nutrition and get off all the unnecessary carbohydrates in the world. So many people just are consuming way too many processed foods, but even just fruits and just what they think is healthy carbohydrates, but all of that is contributing to their vulnerability to this virus, which is quite sad. I mean, yes, there's age, but it's metabolic health. It's a huge contributor. And when people get older, metabolically, they're less healthy. So definitely age contributes, but if you're older and you've got metabolic health, then you're going to be in a far better position. So we've got the hang split. But whatever age you are, this is why we're seeing so many younger people, especially in America, be afflicted by it, because they've only got, I think it's only 12% of the population that are healthy, that are metabolically healthy. It's just ridiculous. All that processed food is coming from industrial agriculture. So you can go into your single leg down dog, stretch that out. There's things that need to change. This is a huge wake-up call to get healthy. Take control of your own health. Stop putting stuff you don't need into your mouth just because it tastes good short term, which is a unique thing. You can do the wall one, guys, if you're up to that. The single leg balance. But huge opportunity to stop putting the things that taste good that aren't good. All this processed carb, I mean, it doesn't taste good to me, but to a lot of people it does. And there's a good reason, because it's survival normally. You know, you come across fruit or something seasonally, so you don't stop at just eating one piece of fruit or one berry. You finish the whole bush like bears do in the wild. So carbohydrate just increases that appetite for more of it. So let's get into the handstands. So we're going to do shoulder moves. This one's really nice to open up the shoulders. Big breath in, exhale, sink down. There's so much value in controlling your insulin levels, leptin levels, which correlate as well. And you can fix it up just in one day. It's already improved just by taking out the carbohydrate. And in a short time, you can improve your insulin sensitivity if you are resistant. So it's working whichever handstand you want to work on. So I'm doing the wall one here. It's a nice simple one. Have the elbows locked out, shrug up, just develop that tissue tolerance. Coming up, hit a nice line, hit my shrug, get a little bit of a balance, pull the ribs in, holding that, prepping that, good hold, coming down. Then I'll go into another lat stretch. So this one here is quite nice, tractioning out. Out. That just reminds me, I missed the traction stretching at the beginning. Jeez guys, no one commented. We can do some now. So there's that one, the deep squat one. Just went straight into the straight hand. Just thinking too much. Those two are nice. So get a nice kick up, cranking. So I'll do the other leg this time. So with these, if you've got that good wall drill going, then you should be able to hit a nice position when you come up and just softly raise up, because you've been doing that work facing the other way to stretch that hamstring and open up the shoulders and develop that tissue tolerance in that position. So kicking up into it should feel good because you've prepped it and you've conditioned it. Just hit that nice split, open those shoulders, pull the ribs in, just work that. It's all a process. You turn your hands into feet, wrists into ankles, condition that, control it. But yeah, those wrist moves as well with the band, really important to integrate if you are suffering with the wrists as they condition. Alright, so let's have a look at today's gymnastic strength. So doing the reverse meat hook. So an easy version, if you're starting out with this, you might just do a single arm pull. So you get yourself set up in a nice position at the top, and then you're going to come down, squat, pull, like that. So you get a nice motion each side. So it's just a pulling action rather than the reverse meat hook, but it's just going to help you condition that single arm strength. So you do 30 seconds a side on that. Otherwise, the other one from here is doing that same start position. So I squat right down, and then from there I come up, got the weight there, step around into the back lever, one arm, and then I roll my arm up around my body, back, and then down. It's pretty tricky. You can do it in the rings. So again, nice and deep, straighten the legs out, step here, getting that single arm back lever, then I'm going to roll myself up, unroll myself, come down, squat down. Very cool. Now the next one, if you're just starting out, you might just do a nice push up on the knees, on the toes. Really simple, just kind of coming down like that, conditioning the shoulders. We do have push-ups on the Friday, so there's enough rest before we hit that again. Otherwise, we've got the elbow lever. Now, with the elbow lever, you need to get that position here going. You need to improve that. So it's getting the inside of your arm against the ribs. So you may just do that on your knees, and then this month's one you're turning into it. So just come down and try and find that spot, strengthen that. You want to have the hands fairly wide, down, and strengthen that. So my left one just doesn't feel as good as the right one. The right one I can just hit a really nice position and it's quite cool. Left one's a bit harder. So then what we do to make it more dynamic, you're going forward into it. And coming back. Forward. Balance and come back. So hitting that. Just work with what feels good, guys. If it's just a push-up, condition that. If you want to experiment with getting that inside of your arm against the ribs, get on it. Let's get into this round. So remember, if you're just doing those single arm pulls, work with that. Doing a single arm meat hook, reverse meat hook, coming down, up, step, roll up, unroll, control, step around, squat down. So again here, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Going to the other side. 1, 2. Might get rid of this mat. It's starting to some things. Nice. 2 reps there. Let's go into this one. So coming down, turn. So if you're just on the push-ups, stay with those. I want it to feel good, guys. Take the rest. Very cool. Breathe. And those wrists out a bit. So we get 3 more rounds of that before we get into the main workout. It's quite cool. So if you've got any questions, put it in the comments. These workouts are on a weekly schedule, so this workout will come around again next Tuesday. So get a chance to get it down and go again. Side. Nice roll up, stretch and strengthen those tissues. Control it on the way down. Let's get into these elbow levers. The push-ups, whichever one you're up to. Wow. Take the rest, breathe, guys. Suck that air in. Those are quite hard because when you're stabilizing in there and you're holding that breath, there's a bit of tension that builds up, so you just want to take your time with it. But yeah, it's up to you with reps. So you may be doing just the single arm pull and the push up, and I kind of recommend people do a spectrum of reps and hold that spectrum for a month on a particular workout. So for example, you might do 5 of these each side, those ones, hitting that. If you're doing the pulling, the bent arm pulling and pushing, and then you might do 5 to 8 for a month, hit that range, and then the next month, if you're doing a similar movement or the same movement, you might do 8 to 12, or you might go heavier and do a harder version, so you can easily make that harder by going closer to the door. That would be a harder version of that single arm. Squat down here, some closer, and you can go lower, so the back's right down. That'll make it much heavier. And that one we could use for the 3 to 5 reps, those lower reps. Similar for a push-up, you can do the same thing, just do your lower reps with more of a planche version, or easier high reps on the knees, or even hands elevated up onto a bench. Works quite well. For these skill-based movements on the Tuesday, if you are training 6 days, and then there's meat hook, elbow lever, or the muscle up, or the acrobatic stuff, you want to keep the reps low because it's skill, and they're quite hard. If you do too many reps, get fatigued, you don't get quality information going into the nervous system. So usually all the gymnastic strength stuff, I keep it kind of maximum 3 reps, so you can keep good quality, good technique, and you're not getting too fatigued. If you start to get too fatigued, you tend to lose the skill development that you're after with these type of movements. But that's how the week's structured. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, predominantly the compound movements, a bit simpler, a bit heavier. And then the Tuesday, Thursday, Friday are more skill based, or just a chance for people to go a bit easier. You've got to work with your body. But by all means, if you want a heavier workout, you might not watch this live, or just go into one of the replays from the other day. So you get more out of it and make it work for you. Because I have people who, train with me online now, but train in the studio, and there's people that train once a week, people that train 6 days a week. So the program's designed so that people can work it with their lifestyle and get the most out of it for them as an individual. And if you like training every day like me, then you've got a nice variety of different movements, and you're not going to overlap too much in the week. So you get not burn out, condition a variety of different responses in the tissues, and enjoy training every day. That's the whole point of the warm-up at the beginning, is to, okay, how am I feeling today? What's going on in my body? When you wake up in the morning, is something a bit sore? Okay, I'm going to take it easy on that. I'm going to do the massage ball, the foam roller, all of that stuff. Just feeling the tissues and get to know how my body responds to different workouts. Just get one more round of this and we'll get into the main workout. Scroll up. Control. Pull. Control. Remember, don't force these. It's pretty heavy on the shoulder. A lot of mobility required for it. But if you just gradually ease into it, keep improving it, your body will do amazing things. Aggravate it, it will slow the whole process down. So here I'm just controlling that descent. And the leaner, lighter, healthier you are, the easier all these things get. So it's so worth just doing the whole lifestyle approach. Sleep well, eat well, hydrate well, loving relationships, positivity every day, and always giving yourself a good time. So even if you do something that's not that great, always just pick yourself back up, congratulate yourself, you're alive, you're here, you're doing the best you can, and you can always improve. That's the opportunity. And even if it's not improving physically, just improving your mental perspective. Such a joy. Awesome, guys. So let's have a look at this next workout. So this is this month's version of the flag. So you're coming back and traction that top arm. So you may just stay here and push. A lot of people said this was quite challenging, and even online when I'm coaching people in the classes, they found it quite hard. So you might just stay on the knees and do that. You may just stay in the bridge like that, or the full version, you're going dynamic. So you're coming here, you're keeping that active on the top arm, hitting one side, hitting the other side. So again, just coming back, you might just be on the knees and just push with the bottom arm, pull with the top one, get that active. Otherwise, you come into a bridge, do the same thing. Then you've got dynamic 3 reps. Quite hard. Then we've got the sprint drills. So if you're fortunate enough, you've got enough space that you can just sprint off into the distance. That's cool. Every time you sprint stuff, but this is just to use less space. Got a short lunge, coming down, coming up. So you may do it slow if your knees are a bit funky, might not go as deep, and do that with the calf raise, or you might just do it explosively. So we're going to do 3 reps each side. We'll start on the beat. Let's go. We're going to this one. Do the version that's right for you. You want it to feel good. Control, feel all those lateral muscles working every time. If you're doing a leg lift, if you're just here, just try and get that nice control. Leave yourself a little bit of a gap before the other side. So get about 20 seconds of loading. Shake it out for 10 seconds. And go on the next side. A bit more tension there. So just getting the right distance. Don't want that top arm to bend. I'm going to push away with the bottom hand, pull with the top one. It's a bit awkward. Once you get it set up, it's quite cool, quite challenging. Let's get these lunge knees. They're nice and explosive, strong. If you need to do it slow, work with your body. You may do it slow and just use the full 30 seconds, so you get a bit more of a workout. Just got to learn to work with your tissues. Let's go to the other side on the beat. Get some good height on the jump. Try. Feel a bit fatigued from my sprints on the Sunday. I feel it's not as strong as I'd like, but that's cool. Just going to congratulate myself and tell myself I'm doing well regardless. Not be in denial, but it's always just being that best friend to yourself. It's funny that people marry other people, but you really need to marry yourself. Till death do us part. Sickness and in health, good times, bad times, just love yourself. It's nice to just give that to yourself, and you can. Why not? That way you can enjoy everyone. You don't need most of our lives, just in our own space, in our own head. So you want to enjoy this life, and part of that is having a mind that supports you. It's a tool. Most of us need to learn how to reprogram it. It's a bit of a process, but it's just aware of what you're saying to yourself all the time. Good stuff, Aaron. Get higher. You can do it. Looking good today, Aaron. Sounds crazy, but it's just so saddening to know what a lot of people think about themselves and what they say to themselves. No. There's all this negativity constantly. Training is physical, but it's so mental. Just give yourself a good time. Support yourself. Coach other people. Give them positive reinforcement, all of that. But people need to learn to have that internal coaching going on all the time. Especially now with things that might be a little bit tougher for you. And it's not to be in denial and just, everything's perfect. You still need constructive criticism of yourself, but it needs to be constructive, not destructive. Which is more than possible. So you can always improve. There's always something you can do to make things better. Never give up. If you're alive, it's a gift. You want to use it every day. Don't forget it. all opportunity. This whole thing, it's just for you. It's all for you. You're alive. And it gets tougher when you've got pain in your body or something's not feeling right, some challenge. But you just got to work with it, work with the hand that you dealt, make the most of it. Don't be overly attached to things being a particular way. There's lots of challenges and everything's easy and everything's good and in your favour and the gods are working with you, then it's easy to be happy. But when things are challenging, that's a real test, and that's when we show our true worth. I've got one more round. Let's go. Strong, guys. Stay strong, get that nice support. Get tight. Last lot of sprints coming up. It's good. It's going to be a great day. It's beautiful outside here in Sydney. It's just magical. Chance to enjoy life again and again. Another rotation of the earth. This last beep. Hope you're doing well with this, guys. Breathe, get that heart rate down. The last one coming up, and then we'll get into core. Last 6 minutes. All right, here it is. Alright, so for core, guys, pretty simple. Just going to hold that towel, get this nice active contraction in the back. You can walk further forward to make it heavier and just rotating the head side to side. That's 30 seconds. Doing that in the bridge. And then we've got some ankle inversion, toe crunches, and calf raises. So let's do it. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, nice and controlled. Keep the shoulder blades down and back. Nice and slow. Feel those muscles work on the front surface of the neck. If it's too strong, make it easier. Feel your back turning on, glutes turning on. Prone bridge. Control, nice slow rotation. Your neck. Feel that nice active control there in the bridge. Make it a bit heavier if you like. And we've got inversion, eversion. Hitting those. 15 seconds. And we're going to go into our toe crunches. Hitting those. Pull yourself along. If you have to do one at a time, that's cool. Quite hard. Calf raises. Get nice and high, and even hit 10 seconds of each direction if you like. So getting straight. And we turn out, hit some different fibers there. So every Tuesday, work the calves and the neck. internal ones here. Nice and high, get a good stretch, strengthen, stretch, strengthen. Let's get back on that neck. Here. Activate, rotate, make it more horizontal. Feel those tissues turning on. Get into your prone bridge, rotate there, nice and smooth. Inversion. And get those ankles nice and healthy. Keep them healthy so you can keep moving around on the surface of the earth. Keep fighting gravity effectively. Healthy ankles, healthy feet, healthy knees, healthy hips, healthy spine. All works together. It's this beautiful system that we evolved to have bipedal gait and be able to use our upper tools and do all cool stuff with that and walk around on our legs, feel grounded, strong, connected to the earth. But yeah, just getting bare feet if you can, every day outside, get that earthing going on. Here I'm insulated with rubber underneath the AstroTurf, so I always make an effort to get my shoes off outside, and then I've got my earth runners that have a copper piece that goes through, so even if I'm walking around in those, protection from things that are on the ground, but I'm still getting earth all the time. Keep those electrons sorted. But most people now, they're in shoes all day, and then they're on carpet, they're insulated, they never even touch the earth. People go big chunks of their life without even having bare foot on the earth, which has huge consequences, especially with all the electrons we're under. And, science is still trying to understand all of the influences, but I'd rather just keep it simple and just have that connection. There is lots of research on grounding for inflammation, for mood, for general health. Definitely worth integrating into your day. Part of that path to achieve better health. And yeah, just making that daily routine, getting that lifestyle going is so important, guys. This is the mad rush that we've all been in for so long. We're just getting a chance to reset that, step back and say, do I need to fly all over the planet all the time? Maybe once a year is more than enough. Do I need to keep stressing myself out about all these things, just racing through traffic and doing all this stuff to staying busy, whereas I could do much less, be much more productive, work from home, train from home, eat well, sleep well, get good time in nature, all of those things, have time with family, friends, loved ones, and just work in a way that supports everyone around us, but doesn't destroy our own health. So I hope you had a good day, good workout. Hope you're having a good day. If it's a morning where you are, then get out there. If it's evening, have a good sleep tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.